Hello and welcome to another update video here about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is still fighting with the $20,000 level. Remember that a few days ago I told you that I would assume we come down to 20,000. If we drop any lower than that, then I'd be a bit surprised. So 20,000 was always on the radar. We did drop to 20,000, just briefly below it, but that was only a wick here on the 1 hour chart. So from that point of view, it's fighting with that $20,000 level. That is a highly relevant level, not without reason. I gave you back in November a target for Bitcoin between 28,600 and 20,000. So we reached that, obviously. And if we take a look here on the daily, you can see how relevant just here on the daily chart, how relevant the $20,000 level is. I mean, if I highlight here in yellow or in green, what is it? No, yellow, the $20,000 level, and this is the target I gave you anyway back in November. You can see how nice we came into it. And back in November we were here. Yeah. So anybody who's new on the channel, this has always been the target range, and the $20,000 level is of high relevance. Why is that the case? Because below $20,000, you have a high or huge volume spike. So if you take a look at the VPVR, let me go back to the, we are on the daily. So this is what I mean. Just here, there you go. Depends on which kind of zoom level you have, because it always considers what you have actually zoomed in for. But take a look at this huge spike down here, which starts just below 20,000. This comes from here, from back in 2020, I think. This is all the historical volume that we had here. Quite a bit of volume just below the $20,000 level. And in addition to that, the peak of the previous bull run was just below $20,000. That is why originally, that target area came from a mixture of relevance of the Fibonacci levels plus the expanded flat that we were creating here, where in the wave C, which was this one, we basically had to come below the wave A, and the wave A was 28.6K. So again, we reached that area perfectly. We briefly dropped out of it, but that was not a problem because we came back into it within a few days. And so the relevant area has always been the 20 to 28.6K area, which doesn't mean we couldn't now drop below it, because there is a chance. I talked about that in the previous videos. There are various bearish patterns which are possible here, a couple at least, even though they are not ideal, but they are possible. And we are now fighting with this relevant level. Yeah, and that's what it is. And I can't guarantee to you at this stage that we don't go any lower. Technically, if I go to the 1 hour chart, technically this move down that started at 25K is complete, technically. Or let's say, technically the minimum requirements for this drop down are complete. But there's nothing that would confirm at this stage that we are going up. I gave you in the previous video the key levels that we need to get above $20,760. That is this wave 4 high here. And to be fair, we made actually a new low still, so we have to move that down. And that is now getting a very extended wave 5. As I said before, I can't guarantee that the wave 5 doesn't extend lower, because you never know how low a wave goes. There are ideal levels, and one ideal level that I gave you was the $19,450 level in the last video. So maybe we will get there in the end. That is a key target here for that level, should we drop below the 20K level. Again, I can't guarantee to you how low we go, as long as we don't go above that $20,760 level, and that is what I confirmed twice yesterday. There is a bit of a bearish overhang and downside pressure still on this chart. Due to the latest structure, it would already be helpful if the chart could break out above 20,300, which would be a higher high, and then we would need to make a higher low, and then it could already be that we start to go up. That would sort of be a signal I'm waiting for. But you can see how relevant the $20,000 level is also in the long wicks that end to the downside. So it was bought pretty quickly. A lot of people had their buy order set at around 20K. But what is currently coming up here is too weak for me. That is not really a good signal. Yes, we had here on the 1 hour chart a bullish engulfing candle, but it's not yet what I would call impulsive, or at least strong enough to be confident that we are reversing here to the upside. I think we are very close to the low, and to be honest, a recovery is now due, but it might not happen until the end of the weekly candle close. At the moment, the market seems to be waiting for those catalysts. We had the Powell speech that was a catalyst for the expected move down, and it could be that the weekly candle close will be kind of some kind of a catalyst for possibly a move to the upside. Bear in mind, there's always a lot of volatility towards the weekly candle close, and also we've got the monthly candle close, not today, but in a few days. So there's already a lot of volatility expected around that period. And as you might know, the Nasdaq also starts pretty much at the same time as the weekly candle close. So that will be something of interest. And you can see here the daily candle today, doji candle, indicates quite a lot of uncertainty, but that could be a reversal signal. I mean, it indicates uncertainty, but when you come down with such a strong green candle, could help with a possible reversal here, but it's not convincing yet. And if we take a look at the weekly in preparation for the weekly candle close, you can see the weekly candle was quite strong to the downside here. That one at least is smaller than the previous one, and it will be interesting how that closes. It won't close in the green. I mean, I'm pretty convinced about that. Now, never say never in crypto, but that will probably be a red candle. You can see that the bullish momentum that the MACD started on the weekly is already slowing down. That is not necessarily a good sign. On the 4-day, we already see this. And if the 4-day chart is reversing down, that is not great. Yeah, we were quite positive about this turning to the upside, and so far, and it worked out. Bitcoin did perform, but not strong enough. And if this is now turning down and we cannot prevent this bearish crossover here on the 4-day MACD, then I'm pretty sure the market will crash once more. That is what it is. The 4-day chart is very relevant. The market had its chance, from when it started to reduce negative momentum here, we started to talk about this, and that was a possible buy signal, and it did perform quite well. But now it's turning the other side, which is not great. And probably, the 2-day chart already made its bearish crossover. Yeah, that is not a good signal, possibly in preparation here for the rather weak month that we normally have in September. I talked about that before. September is historically the absolute weakest month in crypto. There have been good years of a September in the past. Now that doesn't mean every year needs to be a bad September, but it's just sort of the likelihood, isn't it? But then the good news is October, November, December are historically the best periods in crypto. So it could really become a nice year-end rally after either another dip in crypto or sideways movement. The likelihood that September performs extraordinarily well is quite low based on what the history has shown us. Okay, that's my update about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.